The May meeting of the Kenton Board of Education meeting. Roll call, please.
Mr. Watkins,
Yes.
Mr. Blue,
Here.
Mr. Householder,
Yes.
Mr. McCullough,
Here.
Mr. Brush.
Yes.
On the pledge of allegiance.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay. Approval and correction of the minutes of the regular meeting, April 18th, 2016. And the special meeting of April 18th, 2016. Motion to accept.
Householder. Blue.
Any seconds? Any discussion? Vote.
Mr. Blue,
Yes.
Mr. Householder,
Yes.
Mr. McCullough,
Yes.
Mr. Rush,
Yes.
Mr. Watkins.
Yes.
Okay, principal, supervisor, and faculty reports. Okay. Grace Roll, Kirk Cameron, you're up.
Hello, I'm Kirk Cameron, principal at Kenton Middle School. I wanted to just take a couple moments tonight and introduce you to one of our 8th grade students, Grace Rawl. I told her I wasn't going to take her whole spiel, but last year she came up to me with an idea, probably early May, and we ran with it small scale at Kenton Middle School, and this year she is wanting to broaden the scope there and has plans from there. So I'll turn it over to her and let her share that with you.
Like you said, my name is Grace Rawl. I'm an 8th grader. I will be soon to be a freshman. Last year, I started a recycled school supplies thing, and my mom got me started, but I've always really liked helping people, and so she got me started with a friend of hers, and then I went to her and then got in contact with people in Mangalat, Bangladesh, or in other words, Mangalat National Schools. They then appointed me to Women's Night Mission Group in Michigan. I made plans then with Principal Cameron and on getting my classmates involved by announcements. When I emailed the Women's Night Mission, they told me to have the supplies in shippable boxes and to make the trip or send the supplies to them. Then I went to my church and asked for prayers, and I asked for donations by doing work for them, and from that I got $100. Then I talked to the Women's Night Mission and got a date and set that, and drove up there, and I gave away about 13 boxes worth of supplies to them. A lot of it was loose leaf paper and folders. The Women's Night Mission was very generous and told me that I didn't have to I didn't have to pay to send the supplies. They'd cover the shipment cost, so that was a really big help to me. So far this year, I've already gotten $20 from my church. My goals this year is to expand to the elementary and the high school, and then eventually I will hopefully broaden that into like Hardin Northern, Riverdale, and like around Hardin County. I just really love helping people, and it's always been a dream of mine to help others, to educate them, and it's really been a terrific experience. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay, next, Ohio High Point. Ryan, I'll let you introduce everybody.
Okay. How about you guys stand over here?
I'm here to talk about the Northwood Bell Clock System. When we started the school year at Northwood, the new career tech facility, it used to be an elementary school, and the elementary school didn't have any sort of clock system in it, which elementary school, that's not a big deal. At the high school level, when they have to catch a bus, that's a big deal because these guys missed the bus because of me probably at least 3 times. But it's a good thing. We're so engrossed in the work that we missed the bus. So what we decided to do is, I keep on getting in the way, put together a clock system using repurposed parts from Kent State Schools. We tried to minimize our out-of-pocket costs as much as possible. So we're going to go through and they're going to explain each part of the clock system that we set up.
This is the computer base from which everything else is run. So it's an Apple Mini. It is programmed to know what time it is and display it on the monitor so that when the class ends, the clock program will play a sound or alarm and it can be changed through said speakers attached to the monitor. The useful thing is that all of the Apple Minis were Kent City School surpluses, so it didn't take up any extras.
Yeah, those minis are about 8 years old now. I mean, we'll get it.
They still tell time.
Yeah, they still tell time pretty well.
The speakers and display, they came from eBay. They're about $8 a piece.
No, what came from eBay?
The speakers.
Okay.
It
You said
says that.
speakers and display came from eBay.
The
Yeah.
display was we already had.
Yeah.
The monitor is a Dell 1708 FP 17-inch with a resolution of 1280 by 1024, and it is surplus of Kenton State Schools.
We had the motion detector is used to save energy. The way it works is when you are not in the room, the clock/bell system will turn off, but once it detects motion in the room, it would automatically turn on.
And for that, they had to program write up the little program for it's an Arduino that would detect motion and then it wakes the computer up. That's the coolest part of the whole thing. Riley Sloan isn't here. Oh, you guys should have introduced yourselves. Rexon Walters, Dean Markey, Dawson McLean. And Riley Sloan couldn't be here, so I'll read his. We also put a microphone on each one of the Mac Minis and installed Skype on auto answer. So the high school can now page over to any of the classrooms from the office to notify us if so-and-so is getting picked up, or could you send so-and-so back over, or little things like that. We haven't worked two-way yet. We can't call the high school yet, but they can call us. And the other piece we need to work on is when Skype's an auto answer, there's no sound. You just start hearing somebody talking and it scares you. There's our whole team. The clock's been working really well. I have them programmed because this is the hardware class, I did a lot of the software. They're programmed for the regular schedule, and then on delay days, they get the delay schedule, so they still go off at the correct times. We can change the song, which before Christmas was "We Wish You a Merry Christmas" for a week. The song that they have right now it's okay.
It's something generic that he picked.
Yeah. You haven't found something better yet. And so in the last few days of school, we want to change it to something more exciting. So, yeah, that's, but I don't know if we can play that every day.
You could change it to a variety of Alice Cooper.
Yeah.
Or introduce like Holy Diver, just anything.
And the other piece of the puzzle that we're working with maintenance on is we bought a mount for each one to mount them up on the wall. So they're not sitting on the cabinets. We're working on trying to get power in those places so we can do that. Because everything's wireless. It just needs one power outlet to do the whole piece. Kent State Schools has in it, the microphones are $20 a piece. The speakers are $8 a piece and the mounts are 60. So what is that? 3,400, 8 times 5, well, $500. So it was a neat little thing. And now you guys don't miss the bus.
And it's not just our class either. It's the nursing class and the manufacturing class over what, 4 different periods?
Or all 8. I mean, just the, and if you go over there during 8th period, the girls coming out of nursing like to really sing along with it. I was in my office. I thought there was a fight going on. Come running out of my office and it's just the girls singing the song as they walk out the building. So, any questions for the computer hardware?
Great job, fellas. Did you have fun?
Yeah, that project. Writing up the program is nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, what's the next project?
We don't know yet.
Yeah.
Because you guys are all taking software this fall.
It could go both ways, Mark.
So these guys will be taking software this fall and I'll have a new class for hardware.
So don't worry, he'll make us write something else. So.
So Ryan, how long did it take you guys to do that? And what was the time?
Several weeks, just to try out different things. The code for the motion sensor was a little tricky. I found some examples, but
Trial and error.
yeah. And part of the reason it took a while was I wanted to teach them some of the software stuff. So before we even did this, they had to write a script that would play a sound and work on playing different sounds. So then they got to download sounds and play those. And I heard, this is John Cena, one too many times. That
was the response.
Yeah, okay.
Now, RFO.
So, well, thanks.
Very good. Thank you.
Thank
Very
you.
good.
You guys are pretty good.
You're the guy.
Do we need to get the kids back?
Yeah, let me go get those guys.
This is a hardware issue.
Hi, I'm Julie Simmons. I am the principal of curriculum instruction at Kenton Elementary. And tonight, we would like to present, there's a committee from our school that has been working on a standards-based grade card that we're going to roll out next year. And so before we show you, and I've included copies of like our old report cards and then what the new one is, it's just a framework because it will be done through Progress Book. But to give you a little background, switching report cards is not just changing the format. It's a philosophical shift in instruction and assessments. So tonight, what I'd like to do is just go over briefly what are standards, why a standards-based report card, and why that's best for student learning, and the key differences between a traditional grading and standards-based grading. And then I would like, I brought Mary Cook with me, who is a first grade teacher at Kenton Elementary, and we were lucky enough to get her from Ashland School District last year, and in Ashland they actually used a standards-based report card. So I would like her to share a little bit about her experiences. So first of all, just to start with the basics, standards-based grading is based on the principle that grades should convey how well students have achieved the standards. In other words, grades are not about what students earn, it's more about what students learn. What are standards? A lot of you have heard Common Core, buzzword, and the state has adopted the standards, and what we do is that's what we're required to teach. And I put a sample there from the state website. It shows the college and career standard, which is called the anchor standard, and then I just put K1 and 2 just so you could see the progression of the standards. So it's important that students master the kindergarten standard because the first grade standard is building upon that foundation that they built. So What courses have standards? All of the courses have standards, including your arts, your PE, your technology. There are standards for all of those subjects. What standards actually do is they help shape our curriculum. They help the teachers know from year to year what instruction has already occurred. It also helps parents and families give information describing how well their child is performing, not against each other, but based on that common standard. It has a direct impact on student learning, what they need to know to be able to be successful at the next grade level. So why standards-based grading? Because it gives a lot more information. If you look at the two samples, the standards clearly describe what students are expected to learn. It also will give parents a better idea of the strengths and weaknesses, and work habits are not included and averaged in the grades. And some of those work habits that we may not think are work habits, but sometimes that distort our grades are, example, zeros, late work, cheating, extra credit, group work, all of those they distort what the students are actually able to do compared to that standard. When a child doesn't turn something in and they receive a 0, that's a behavioral thing. You know, there needs to be a consequence for not turning in work, but that we don't want to give a 0 because that doesn't tell us what the child is capable of doing or not doing. So what is the difference between traditional and standards-based? In traditional, the grades are given for each subject area, and in standards-based, the subjects are divided into a list of skills and knowledge that the students need to learn and master. Each skill is evaluated separately. So here's an example of a traditional grade book at the top and a standards-based. Notice how on the standards-based report card, the standards are listed, and then instead of putting a grade, we use progression terms such as progressing, meets the standard, limited, or exceeds the standard. Here's another example of a report card. Notice across the top, it's the same standard. So in a grade book, the teacher will sort by that standard and look at how they've done across time. So progress is reported with letters or percentages. In standards-based, it's reported by levels of mastery toward a specific standard. Okay, Ryan. Okay. I don't know why that's distorted like that. Standards-based grading, math, the traditional grading, they would receive a B-. How much information does that give parents and the student? Whereas in standards-based grading, it might say math, list the different standards, and then have a performance indicator of how they're doing on that specific standard. Yeah.
It's not running. Yeah, it's not running.
Okay. So another grades earned during the marking periods are average. That's our traditional grading. So if a student receives a few bad grades at the beginning of the 9 weeks, it can wreck their overall grade for the 9 weeks. Whereas standards-based evidence is collected throughout the marking period, with the final grade being the progress on the standard. So it recognizes how they've worked toward and what is the end product at the end of that, how well are they doing in accordance with the standard. So for example, let's say the standard is a student will be able to shoot 8 out of 10 shots. So you look at their progress, they made 0, 2, 3, 8, 9, and then 8. Would you say have they met the standard?
Yeah.
So if you look at traditional grading and you figure the average, they would have gotten a D or F, whatever your 50%. Whereas in standards-based grading, they did meet the standard. So it kind of takes, it doesn't matter where the student comes into us and how long or how hard they have to work. You know, students come in at all different levels. What we're looking at, are they able to meet that final goal, that target? So we don't penalize them for, you know, working, you know, and along the way, like coaches do, I think of it a lot as coaching. When they make 0 out of 10, the coach is going to say, you know, you need to get your elbow up, you need to, you know, keep your eye on the rim, you need to follow through. They're going to coach along the way, and they're going to help. And like I said, those dings and those practice and that feedback is not going to be averaged in their grade. Ultimately, when you look toward the end, they're on target. Another example, here's 4 students. If you average those grades, they all have a 70%. But when you look at the different areas, that 70% means very different things to those different students. Student B is very weak in fiction. Student C doesn't even, you know, writing. We don't know what happened there. So if you were a parent and you received a 70, as far as helping or providing intervention, it wouldn't be clear on what areas need to be intervened. So this is, Dave, this is one for you. This is packing a parachute. So they got several, they practiced it 7 times. They all ended up with a 2.4. The mastery is 3. So which one would you want packing your chute? Okay, if you look Snow White there, which is the red, started out very low, but look at where she ended up. Whereas compared to the others, even though the end result was that if you average those grades at 2.4, the trend patterns are very different. You know, Snow White had a set, you know, steady, continual upwards toward mastery. So what happens a lot of times when we average grades, that if students fail or get several zeros at the beginning, they know they're done. And so, you know, hopelessly behind in the score, Jack decides to soak the judges. And so that's what happens sometimes. You know, if kids feel like they're in a hole, how much attention are they going to pay? You know they have, it's the next quarter they can redeem themselves. But so in effective schools, one of the most consistent practices of successful teachers is the provision of multiple opportunities to learn. The consequence for a student who fails to meet a standard is not a low grade, but rather an opportunity, indeed the requirement, to resubmit his or her work. So this shows the target circled, and it shows the different paths that the students are taking to get there. Okay, everybody takes different paths, everybody has different learning styles. The ultimate goal is they all end up mastering the standards. Oh, Brian. So at this time, what I'd like to do is bring up Mary Cook, who I would like her to just talk about what she saw with as far as student motivation, what the teachers in the district thought about standards-based grading, and what the parents or guardians thought about standards-based. And then she's going to share the work that our committee's done for the last couple months.
Good evening. I'm Mary Cook, and I teach first grade at Kenton City Schools. And I just have to say that I'm so thankful for the opportunity, first of all, to even be part of this district, because I see a lot of really fabulous things going on here. And when I first started, the idea of going back to the traditional report cards was a little difficult for me to swallow, because I'd been doing the standards-based report cards for so long. And just the benefits of using that is phenomenal. It benefits everybody, students, teachers, and the parents. And I look at it as an adult, I know that we love those traditional grades. I got an A, and that makes me feel so good. But what does that even mean? And if you look at it, for the students, if I tell first graders especially, they don't know what an A, a B, a C, a D, or an F is. They don't really know that a whole lot, unless their parents are talking about it at home. But if I give a child an A in reading, what does that mean? They could be very fluent readers and they could be great word callers, but they might not be comprehending what they read. And as they get older, it might be okay right now in first grade that they're, very fluent and they're calling those words and they're doing great, but they're struggling with that comprehension piece. And if I use a standards-based report card, I can have that conference with that child and I can tell them, hey, you are a fabulous reader, you're fluent, you're great. We need to work on the comprehension. You're here and we're going to go here. So we are able to provide very specific goals. And I love that because kids buy into that. When you set goals for them, they want to work to achieve those. And they need to know what their strengths are, but they also need to know what they need to work on. It's not, they don't look at their grades as an absolute, and that if I get a 0 on this spelling test and then the next time I get a 10 and then the next time maybe a 30, I'm still doing really bad in my class. But if we continue to work on that and you give them more opportunities to correct their mistakes and learn from where they went wrong, then they know that they can meet those goals. In conferences with parents, if I had a traditional report card and I told them, your child has a C in spelling, they didn't know what that meant. And with the standards-based report cards pointing out that they can spell word pattern families really well, but the sight words are what they need to work on. So it's very specific. It gives you very specific information. We used it in parent-teacher conferences. I used the formats for my report cards in one-on-one conferences with my students, so they knew where they were and where they were going. It also, if you look under the educator, when you're in the RTI process with students that are really struggling, you have very specific information that you know exactly what those children need, what skills they need to work on, and what interventions or enrichments you need to provide for them. This slide, I really like this. It says the best thing you can do is make sure that your grades convey meaningful, accurate information about student achievement. I don't think grades should just be given. They are a reflection of what that child can do. This is the standards-based report card committee. We had 3 kindergarten teachers, 2, Ashley Chapman, Angela Kimmel, and then Angie Butterman. And then from first grade, it was myself, Karen Jesenowski, and Kendra Hale. And second grade, Robin Sturgeon, Michelle Weiss, and then Julie Simmons was our fearless leader. We met weekly from March 8th through the present. We spent lots of time looking over the research and the data on standards-based report cards. And I like that I had a background in the standards-based report cards, but I also had the opportunity to see what were the things that we had to tweak at Ashland that we could avoid those pitfalls here. We collected and reviewed lots of documents from other districts. There were nights that we got very little sleep because there's a lot out there. We identified our priority standards because you can't have your report card with every single standard or it would be probably 10 pages long. We've created and prepared newsletters and presentation materials to inform the parents of this change because it will be something new and maybe a little bit hard to swallow at first, but I believe in the long run, it's one of the best ways to assess learning. And then this is just the implementation timeline. So we'll be rolling it out for K-2 for next year, and then following that 3-4, and then 5-6. And these are the proficiency levels. If E is for exceeding, one of the things that we learned in Ashland, the E is reserved for absolutely those exceptional mastery levels. You'll see a lot of the M's and the P's, especially in first grade and kindergarten, and then you leave it blank if it's not assessed, because there are a lot of times when I'm not going to assess, like, graphing in math until the second half of the year. And then this is an example of the English language arts. And you can see how it's very specific. These are the reading foundational skills. So you break it down. Do they even understand the basic features of the print? Do they know phonics and words and symbols and sounds? And then this is the accuracy and fluency piece. Can they tell key ideas and details? Can they understand grade level literature? And then the writing and language. Here's your domain, the cluster, and then the grade level standards. Oh, and we also use the 7 habits of highly effective students as part of our, this is where your behavior part, like if your teacher is going to give you extra credit points for turning in a box of tissues, you know, students that are always synergizing and working well with others and using their time wisely, these are the things, this is where that comes in. So that is not part of your academic grade. Any questions? I'll let Julie comment on that one too.
This seems to make a lot of sense. How widespread is it, or percentage-wise in the state? How many schools are using it?
Many, and we've had it on our DLT goals for at least 6 years. And so Craig Latzenslager, who was on one of the slides, has actually implemented it in several districts in the state of Ohio. So when we had him link with Julie was able to get a plan for the district and to get it implemented here. At least we have a 3-year plan to get it through 6th grade.
Does it translate into older grades then as you used it at the younger
I will tell
ages?
you that high schools are the weakest of using standards-based grading across the board right now. And a lot of that has to link to how colleges view transcripts.
Right.
And so there are some decisions that really have to be made after 8th grade, but we're confident that the elementary will get the best picture and will have the most accurate information for our students and helping our students K-6 by the standards base. And then we'll have to make some decisions how that looks going forward for the upper grades. Now you do have 2 teachers at the high school right now that do a standards-based report card for their class, if you will. So they're grading on those. I don't know, it won't translate on the actual report card that you get, but they have a supplemental that would show you these are the standards for the class. So I think there are 2, if I remember right.
Yes. And even some at like the 6th and 5th grade, we did one of our 2-hour delay PD groups was standards-based grading. And so that was very interesting. We had high school, middle school, and elementary representatives on that committee to make everybody, because it's a philosophical shift. And when you see it, to me, it's like, why did we ever do things that didn't make, averaging, when you see, it makes sense because we want every student to learn and we want every student to master.
Why are you implementing it over time? Is it just a management thing to be
Part
able to
of it
handle
is because we, there's going to be quite a bit of PD on the teacher's part and the management, how to manage a grade book. And also to jump right in with parents of 6th graders that have had a traditional report card all along will be harder than if we, work it up as they come through. So, and our plan is, to do open house and really get information out to parents and try to explain in multiple formats, why it's good and what it will tell them as far as and how it will help them better help their child.
And kindergarten has already been doing this for 6 years. So if you've had a child go through kindergarten, they've had a form of a standards-based report card, if you will, not to this depth, I don't think.
Yes, and that's that long copy in you can kind of see where they're.
So this was a transition of, hey, we need to realign kindergarten and then we can do it K2 and have success. The other thing that I just want you to note is when Mary showed you the 7 habits, that's Leader in Me. So when I was talking about the Leader in Me program and what they're trying to implement at the elementary school, they've already begun to link all that together, and that's your behavioral piece that they're working on.
Thank you.
Do you guys need the projector?
Really specific on what areas.
No.
That's right. But they gotta be quantifying that somehow. They gotta be taking the test.
One more time, it should go. There you go. So Barb Wyndham, I would just introduce her. I would introduce Barb Wyndham, and she would introduce the students.
All right. Barb, would you like to get up there and introduce all the students? I'm not going to attempt to pronounce some of these names, because I'd like it to be done correctly.
Question, how do we know?
Hi, everyone. We're here tonight to thank the board for letting the kids come again this year. But before they introduce themselves and talk to you a little bit, and we're not going to take too much time because I know you got a full agenda, but we do have an award that we would like to present to the Kenton High School. And I'm going to read this and then hold this, would you please, Max? Okay. This is called the EF Global Education Excellence Award. The Kenton High School has received national recognition for excellence in the global education from the EF High School Exchange Year, the leader in the high school exchange. The EF High School Exchange Year Global Education Excellence Award is presented annually to high schools that demonstrate an extraordinary commitment to international understanding and global awareness. Kenton High School is one of a select group of high school districts recognized across the United States for the 2015-16 school year. The school has shown an outstanding commitment to offering a global education by welcoming exchange students into the classrooms. Kenton High School has created new and unique learning opportunities not only for the exchange students, but for the American students and faculty as well. This year, our high school has welcomed 4 EF High School Exchange Year students. Not only were the students accepted to the school, they became part of the school's academic and extracurricular life. We thank the Kenton School Board, Mrs. Pinzarski, Mr. Thresh, and all the high school staff and the students for welcoming this year's exchange students from around the globe. The community and visiting students shared an unforgettable experience thanks to the generosity of administration, teachers, students, and the host families. And EF is headquartered in Cambridge, Massachusetts. EF High School Exchange Year has been committed to promoting international understanding and global awareness for over 30 years. The organization brings more students to the United States each year than any other high school exchange program. Since 1979, EF High School Exchange Year has matched more than 100,000 enthusiastic students from around the world with caring host families across the United States. So this is the excellent award that we would like to present to the high school, to Mr. Thresh, and also we have a certificate for him also. So one of them will give it to you. You want to come up?
Yeah.
You go, guys. You can hand it to me.
And I would like to take just a minute to thank Barb. Not only does she help with getting exchange students into our community, but she came in and brought EF in to help see how we could get our students to go see the world. And so she brought in a representative and we talked about programs that might even align with our CATS club so that students could, and it's all with aligned standards-based curriculum and possibility of college credit. And it's pretty amazing what EF can actually do to serve our community. So we're very thankful to have Barb in our community as a whole to not only place exchange students, but also to work on getting our children out in the world. So thank you for everything you do.
And we hope that we get that accomplished within like next year or the year after for our students to go. Because I think it's very important that they can go to the other different countries and see what it's like.
And I know there's a meeting this week or next week, so.
That's good.
That's on
So
the
they're just going
agenda.
to take a couple of minutes and introduce themselves and tell you where they're from. So go ahead. You're first, Max, if you want to know. And who you stayed with.
Okay, yeah, my name is Max Purge. I'm from Germany. I'm staying with the Bartlett family, Jamie and Deb Bartlett. Very awesome family. I just want to say thank you to all of you for that opportunity that I was able to do an exchange year that Kenton took me. And I just want to say that I had a very good time here in Kenton, and the sports really made my exchange year very good. And yeah.
Can I have you tell us 2 things?
Yeah.
What was the biggest difference about high school here versus high school, in your case, in Germany? And what do you think you'll miss the most when you go home?
Oh yeah.
I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit.
I have to say that I'm like, I don't know, I'm a person which gets very attached to things, and like German school and American school is very, very different. Like you see these sports you have after school, and they make you so close. And I was able to play soccer here, and I was just in a family, you know, like the whole team was a family. We had a very, very successful season this year. And yeah, there's nothing I will miss more about America than the soccer season and sports, and supporting on Friday nights was a very good thing. I would do it again.
Thanks.
Yeah. Yeah, thank you.
My name is Max Matzanke, and I'm from Germany too, from Berlin. And yeah, I liked America very much too. I have a nice host family, the Wyndham family. And yeah, I'm thankful for everything here, especially the sports too, because they brought me closer to everything. And yeah, I'm just thankful that I could bring my culture to a new country and learn something about a new culture.
So we thank you for coming.
You're welcome. Thank you.
I'm Tobias Euler-Rolle, and I come from Austria, and I'm staying with the Shepherd family. I would like to thank Kenton City School for allowing me to be a part of the high school. I've made great friends, and I'm so thankful to be a part of the track team. Especially thankful that I got to go to be a part of the Washington, D.C. trip. I would also like to thank all the teachers for helping and supporting me through these 6 months. I really had a good time here in Kenton, and I just want to thank everybody that made this exchange year such an amazing experience for me.
What part of Austria are you from?
Vienna.
Oh, Vienna. Good.
I'm the last exchange student. I'm Luca. I'm from Italy. And I wouldn't say that I'm sad that I did only 6 months. I think the soccer season was really good, but I couldn't be there. But anyways, I played baseball, and I like it so much. I enjoy the team, and the games was really cool. And I stay with Barb and George Wyndham and with Max. And I'm gonna say that I'm gonna miss here so much. Like, it's so different from Italy that like this marked me. Like, I'm gonna miss it. I'm gonna miss it so much, my brother, my exchange brother, and my family for all the things that they made for me. And yeah.
What was your favorite food?
So much people ask me that, and I'm from Italy, but I think the best thing that I ever tried here, they are roadhouse, like steaks. And I like so much. Yeah.
Cows and pigs, right, Mark? That's right.
What part of Italy are you from?
I'm close to Venice. My city is Trieste, but no one knows.
No one knows Kenton either.
Yeah, that's right.
You're on the East Coast?
What?
You're on the East Coast of Italy?
Yeah. I'm close to Slovenia. Really close.
Well, we're gonna miss you guys. We appreciate you coming and sharing your cultures with our kids and getting to know them. So thank you very much.
And if you notice, the question that Jennifer asked was what the differences between your school and they all focused on the sports. So that's the teenagers. We have, if you ever host an exchange student when they're teenagers across the world. They're all the same. But I think one of the things that touches them is because their sports are not school sports, right? Yeah. They're club sports. So they don't have the interaction with the parents and people coming to the games to see them. So
it's all outside of school, because I'm familiar with Germany and Austria, that you are mostly grouped what they call like gymnasiums, right? When you go to high school, that
the school sports.
For the actual. I know in Austria, but it's interesting how they link and do their schools. What do they call how the schools are organized in Germany?
There are two kinds of schools. There's for the people who want to make 13 years of school, it's called Sekundarschulen. And then we have gymnasium, and that's for the people who do it in 12 years.
Okay. Great.
Thank you again.
No, we appreciate it. Thanks so much.
Okay. I don't know, do we have anybody for public participation tonight? Thanks. Guess we'll go on the treasurer's reports. Huh? Okay. Treasurer's reports. Approve the following April 30th, 2016 reports. Cash check, receipt, investment reports, and budget. Motion to accept?
Rush.
I had two of them.
No.
Multiple names.
Okay. I did. I put
No. Discussion? Vote?
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Rush?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Superintendent's reports. I believe we have some
We
recognitions
have some
tonight.
amazing people to recognize, but we're go up to the podium. It'll be a little easier. Would you take one?
Sure.
Thank you so much. Yeah, they are.
They're solid goals.
Solid. Only the best for our staff. These down here, Mark. Well, good evening. This is one of the hardest meetings because we have to say some goodbyes to some very talented individuals. And tonight I can truly tell you that you have a rare bunch in front of you because every one of these people are difference makers, not only in our school, but also in our community. They go above and beyond to make sure that the students have everything they need every day and then go home with them at night, and sometimes literally, to make sure that all of their families' needs are met. So with all three of these individuals, they're going to be greatly missed. And the shoes that have to be filled for each of these individuals are very, very big. And hopefully, even though they are in retirement, I know one has committed to do a group at the middle school with rifles. But I'm hoping that I can twist some more arms of these individuals and get them to participate in our schools and to still engage us because, I mean, just amazing things that they've done. So I would like to call each one of them forward and then give them the opportunity to speak if they would like. So the first person we would like to recognize is Brenda Jennings. She has 13 years with our district and she served as our school nurse.
Lucky practice for graduation.
Really, thank you. It has been an absolutely amazing tenure here. It has been a growing experience, ever growing, ever changing, ever challenging. But I've had the wonderful support of a nice supportive board that gave me the power to do things and make things, I hope, better for children and their families. I appreciate your support. And I wish you all well. Thank you.
The next person I would like to recognize is Tom McBrayer. He has 16 years of service with our JROTC program.
Congratulations. Thank you. So, give us a few words.
Oh, captive audience, a microphone. We could be here for a while. When I took this job, I told my wife I was going to do it 5 to 7 years, and she was good with that. It's been 16, and she says, "Are you sure you want to quit?" And I said, "I think it's time." I want to thank the school board for all the support. I suppose I could go over to the transportation office and go through records and stuff, but I would estimate it's in excess of 30,000 miles that I put on school vans. I'm going to various rifle competitions. Ms. Penzarski asked me about the hours of putting for rifle, and I did one for last year, the year before. I think it was over 400, right around 400 hours, maybe slightly over. I would like for you, the board, to consider very much so a stipend for my replacement for a rifle team coach. It is a lot of extra hours. The Army encourages us, but they do not require us to have a rifle team. And the rifle team has met a lot of success. And as any of you that have played sports know, practice, 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 but nothing takes the place of competition. And the fact that you've allowed them time away from school at times for competition and given us the transportation to support us in going to competitions, it's what's made them better. So thank you very much. And I made a commitment to the middle school. I will honor that commitment. Lord willing, I will be here in the fall and try to get some students there interested in rifle marksmanship and rifle safety. So thank you very much.
And last but definitely not least would be Vicki Miller. She's served in our clinic and served our medically fragile students and for us for years, 15 to be exact.
I just want to say thank you to the board for having me as part of the staff of Kenton City Schools. It's given me the opportunity to meet many wonderful children and to work with some wonderful staff members who are very intelligent and giving of their time, and I've learned a lot from them. And it's just, I hate to see it end, but it all comes in time. So thank you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Just the last two pieces, actually I have 3 pieces, just some dates to go over. May 25th is students' last day, and May 28th is our graduation. And if it's okay with the president, I would like to tell our guests that if they would like to go, they do not have to stay for the entire meeting. We appreciate everything you've done and appreciate your time, but we don't expect you to hang out tonight.
So thank you for coming. Yeah,
Thank you.
very much.
Appreciate it.
Appreciate it. Thank you.
Board committee reports. Finance committee.
The Finance Committee did meet. There are a few items as you go through the agenda here tonight. You see, but one of the things, and probably the largest thing that we had, is cafeteria. They're going to work on a new cafeteria line in the high school, both cold and hot serving, and some serving tables, and some new ovens there where they're replacing some stuff and upgrading, and so that's well needed. I was there for breakfast for the connectors thing, and I happened to mention that I remember seeing some of that equipment when I was in high school there in the 80s, and so it's time. It's served its purpose, and so those things are going down. Some of the other things that we had going on, we talked about staff and moving around staff and how we were doing things. We talked about the contract with WOCO and versus some of the other people for rolling out how we were going to do the new. And Tracy can talk more to this than I can, but how we're going to do the new accounting system and those things coming up, because there's Munis and there's SunGuard. SunGuard. I always want to call it Sunshine. And so the state has given us a new program, and so we're looking at moving through that, and so when we have decided, and that's in the meat of this thing, to go with WOCO. We're familiar with them. It was the other part of that contract is in here. Kathy Raffner is retiring, and she does our EMIS reporting. And so they're going to pick up the data entry portion that we do data entry already. They're going to organize the data entry and do those things. And so it's a skill set that we'll be able to do from them, and we'll wish Kathy well in her retirement too. But they'll be able to pick that up, and it'll actually save us just a little bit of money. But on the other hand, we're going to miss Kathy Raffner too, because it was easy to walk across the hall and get some questions answered. So that, in a nutshell, really that was the most of it that we had. I don't know if you guys had anything else. We went over the 5-year forecast, and Tracy broke that down for us. And so that was part of the trying to organize how we're going to move out the staff. And Jennifer's working on getting the staff placed in the most adequate manner to be able to provide the best education that we can afford. And so that's Jen's goal, and that's what we're doing.
And we got the preschool grant. I don't know if we discussed that at the last meeting. I'm not sure when that came in, but we did receive a $54,000 grant from the state to add a preschool. And so we're able to reorganize, and we have to model our current preschool program, which means a preschool teacher, an intervention specialist, and an educational assistant. But now we'll be able to serve a lot of preschool students. In our enrollment this year, it was interesting because preschool was so much higher than kindergarten. So we were able to move some things around, and I think that will be a big success for us.
I think the only other thing, we were picking an auditing firm.
Yep. Oh, yes, we did. We did select an auditing firm. That was pretty easy. The state scores them, and the highest score the state gave was the lowest cost.
So that made it a pretty
those
easy
two
decision.
kind of matched right together.
Yep.
The lowest cost firm got the highest state score. So it was a pretty easy pick. Didn't take us long to deliberate on that.
Okay. Facility.
We did meet on May 9th. We had several meetings, actually. The first meeting, we met with Mr. Letty, and we're in a preliminary stages of looking at some upgrades to the indoor facility. Like I said, it's preliminary. He's doing a lot of research on it, and at this point, all the upgrades and everything will be 100% funded by outside sources. And once it's finished, obviously, we'll probably take over the expenses for the utilities, things like that. But it's real early in the stage, so Mr. Letty, he can share any information that he'd like to share with you on that. And then we met with Mr. Comstock about our facilities in general, and we need to make some improvements on the multi-pathway that runs between the athletic building and the new elementary school. There's some flooding issues up there that need to be addressed, so we're looking into that. We're looking at new roofing on the C building, because it's had our first leak in 20 years on that building, so that's held up pretty well. We did some follow-up on some other issues. We are getting started on the brickwork at the high school, or the middle school. But one of the big issues there was some chimney on top of the building. It is crumbling and coming down rather quickly, so they're going to come in and take the top of that off and cut it down to the lowest point they can and still make it work. That'll free up some issues on that one. And then we're looking at lighting replacements at the athletic building, and the gym still need to be looked at. We're finally closing out the facilities project at the new elementary school. We have a couple issues there that we have to have taken care of, some small roof leaks, changing out of some flush valves, the landscaping issue that we've been dealing with.
We hopefully has the plan.
We have
There's
the
a
plan,
couple things that have
exactly.
been done, so I think we're moving ahead with getting grass out there.
Yeah. It's, we can grow grass anywhere, but it seems we can't get it done out there. I don't know why. We also had some heating and cooling communication issues that they're working on out there. We discussed setting a dollar amount to spend every year and then prioritize repairs, to keep up with everything. We're looking at cameras at the middle school that need to be fixed and updated. We did have a price on that. Cafeteria needs updates, and as Dave was talking about making an easy choice, most of the upgrades we need at the cafeteria, the funds are already there. So that makes it real easy to make that decision. So we're going to move forward with that. And then there was a question about automatic external defibrillators for trainers and for the teams. I know we have them in each building. Maybe we don't always know where they're located, but we do have them. But they were talking about maybe having them at athletic events. So we're looking into that and see if it's something that we, obviously we might need to do it, but we'll have to see where we're at. And then we're looking into more busing because we bought 3, I think, a couple years ago. But since we were on a 20-year plan, we need to keep updated on that. And then we went over a 5-year facility plan. Like I say, the roofing, the brickwork, the window replacement at the Northwood, which one of these days we do have to change the name of that. Sidewalk repairs, auditorium, the carpet replacement, we're looking into that. Tennis court repairs, and then other small issues. And that's about all I have. Do you have anything to add, Mark?
No, that's a fine report.
Oh, and one other thing, they fixed the outlet outside the door at the building here after 7 years.
Well, I didn't take one very long.
So,
So what we did with them, we took all the information that we talked about. We had gotten lists from all the different managers and principals on the things that they saw that they would need in the next 5 years. And then we built that all into the 5-year forecast. So when you see the capital improvement line, we tried to build in all the things that we knew were coming up in the next few years and trying to hit everything.
It was scheduled as 2 one-hour meetings. We started at 8:30 and we finally broke out here about lunchtime. So we covered a lot of things. Yeah.
We did cover a lot.
It was rain.
So you could see it.
That's all I have.
all right. Extracurricular.
As mentioned earlier, we went on the 8th grade trip. Mr. Cameron and his crew. We had a great time. Kids were good. Had a little train trouble at 4:30 in the morning Upper Sandusky, but we got through it. But had a good trip, so really enjoyed that. And, on the sports side, I think our girls softball is the best ever. Is that right, Mike? 7-2 to WBL, best league record ever. So congratulations to them. And Austin Broker broke a school record from 1984. I think John Spivey maybe had that 110-meter hurdles. So in track, a school record was broken. So congratulations to Mr. Broker there. So that's all I have.
Okay, thank you. Career, retired?
Just wrapping up another year at the main campus. May 25th is our convocation this year. It's a Wednesday evening. And as you witnessed tonight, some of the great things that we're having with the satellite programs at the Northwood site, that's just one of several classes we have going on up there. They're all very positive, and that's working out great. And I think we're probably going to run out of space with the way things are going.
That's a good problem to have.
It's a great problem to have. So I would like to mention the Allen scholarships while I have the floor here. Normally, we had a reception for Mr. Allen and things on the same meeting night as tonight. But unfortunately, Mr. Allen is unable to make it this year. He's 96 years old, and he just decided he didn't want to travel, too much anymore. We understand that. So, but we are still going to have the awards day tomorrow at the high school, and there's going to be 25 scholarships awarded to our seniors in the amount of $30,000. And then we have renewals of $35,000. So there'll be $65,000 in scholarships awarded through the Allen Foundation this year. And we really appreciate it, what they've done for the community over the years. And just a little history, this is the 26th year of the awards. And, as Edison Klinger put it, wow, that's pretty amazing, how it started out. And there has been $2,384,150 awarded through Allen Scholarship to our students over the years, and that's just amazing. There's been 1,321 individuals awarded scholarships, and 585 students have received multi-year awards. And in the past, they've ranged from $250 to we had one scholarship for $10,000 that was awarded. But there's over 600 families been assisted with tuition assistance, and some would have never had a chance at higher education without this help. So we definitely want to thank the foundation, Mr. Allen, and his graciousness for giving on this program. So that's all I have.
Thank you. Anything on policy?
No, policy did not meet, but now that I have the floor, I'm going to take a page from us. If you did not get to the Community Connectors thing on last Tuesday, you missed an opportunity to see some great kids. They did a fabulous job, and their capstone presentations were wonderful. And I went around and talked to each table, and they are bright, articulate kids that are gonna make a future. And several of them want to come back to our community and make their future in our community. And that's what we need. We need smart kids to come back, and we're going to get it. So kudos to them. They did a great job.
Excellent.
Just a follow-up on Dave's comment. We do have a lot of great students at Kenton City Schools, and the application process that we went through is pretty rigid. And there are a lot of fantastic students that we're going to have graduate this year. We do appreciate it.
And just one note, though, policy did meet because we had to update our
Oh, I
application.
was out of town, yes.
So on the agenda, Mark was at that meeting.
Yeah.
We've put on an application for classified, certified, and administrative. Was it 94 or 96? Was maybe
94,
94 was the last time it was updated. So policy is taking on the challenge of getting everything that we do in our district up to date and up to speed. So there are two people in the room that helped with that, Julie and Chad are on that committee, so we appreciate it.
Any further old business? If there is none, item 10, executive session. We're going to executive session and discuss an appointment, dismissal, discipline, promotion, demotion, or compensation of a public employee. Motion to accept.
Also,
Second.
Rush.
Okay. Vote.
Mr. Rush,
Yes.
Mr. Watkins,
Yes.
Mr. Blue,
Yes.
Mr. Householder.
yes.
Mr. McCullough.
Yes. Time in will be 8:08. Time back will be about 8:32. Okay. Moving on to item 11. We're going to be voting on item 11A through, does it go to Z?
It goes to Z.
It goes to Z, so we're going to vote on the entire alphabet. So,
Not a problem.
very good.
Householder.
Second? Anybody?
Rush.
All right.
So is there anything in there anybody wants to discuss individually?
I mean, these are all pretty much just renewals, resignations.
The only thing I'll mention just real quick that you catch it is that Kathy Ruffman's retirement is effective January 1st. So that's why she wasn't here.
Tonight. Yeah, exactly.
She'll still be with us through what would probably equate to the first semester of school. She'll be doing a lot of transition for us. Some of the end conditions are like that preschool grant, and we're still hiring for our special ed units. We're still working on getting all the outlays, what were the outlays county units rehired, and there will still be more to come.
Side note was, it was nice to see Tia Ruffner in the paper and doing well.
Yeah, at the front of that walk, it was great.
Yeah.
Okay. Anything else? Vote?
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Rush?
Yes.
Moving on to 12.
Blue.
Second.
Watkins.
Very good. Okay. On to this.
We were required to raise our lunch prices, but I want to make sure that we understand that the goal next year is to give breakfast for grades K-12 for free.
Instead of K-6.
K-6. K-6 is serving over 800 breakfasts a day, which was a significant improvement. So we want to be able to offer free breakfast K-12 for all of our students, but the state is saying we have to raise our prices. And so that's why the prices are raised, not by our choice, if you will. So just wanted to make sure that was clear.
We have all the graduates on there. Anybody care to read those? Okay.
Go for it.
How about the 28th?
Yeah.
And then, as we talked about with the Oglays, people getting hired, you will see a shift in the 5-year forecast. If you look at the miscellaneous expense, that goes down quite a bit compared to this year because that's where the contract was paid to Oglays. We also would have a little bit of difference because of like our speech people and our OT, because those would come out of purchase services. So there's some shifting there.
Okay.
We also build in some numbers for some additional curriculum and some professional development that Mrs. Penzarski wanted to have in there. So that actually took made a little bit of change in the purchase service that you won't see that decrease. So.
Yes, on the 5-year forecast too, I've had a few questions about the 0.5% that's going off, and could you just review how it sunsets here? It's done
Okay.
in the collections and
Right.
It's done.
So we would have gotten a payment in January, which ran through December.
Right.
But then you have anybody that would have paid and filed, we would have gotten some here in April, and we still probably could get a little bit in July.
Yeah.
Because if they didn't pay by March.
just to clean up.
But it's all
Yeah,
2015.
Yes.
As
Yes.
of December
But
31st,
that's it.
2015, there's no more collection.
2015's income.
That's
Right.
it. That's
Yeah,
it.
It's 2015 income.
Yeah, so all that farm income that you couldn't move to the next year got taxed.
I don't know anything about what. I refuse to answer that on the grounds that.
I hear you. I hear you.
And I just at least want to mention on 12K, last year we had an issue because we switched camps, and so we had a delayed purchase order to pay for the camps. For Heartland, we actually had a delay again, And so I am promised that we have it corrected now, but just so that you're aware, there's a then and now for the payment for the seventh grade.
Okay. Anything else?
So, well, I would just, on the 5-year forecast, we have a good forecast going forward. And we have in place programs for the future to be able to sustain our school system. And I just want to say thank you to Jennifer and to Tracy for doing a good job on those things and keeping us going. So thank you.
And it takes a lot of hours to get all that put together.
We still have 3 major grant apps out, so I'm hoping that in the June meeting, I'll say the 2 are renewals, we went to the 4th round of straight A. Eventually, they're gonna listen to us.
They got to give it to us at some point, right?
Yeah.
You would think.
But we have the renewal of the Community Connector, which was the program Dave spoke about. And then we have the renewal for the 21st Century, which is our Club Roar, everything we're doing for the interventions after school and the redesign, and then we have the straight A grant as well. So.
All right. Anything else? Vote.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Rush?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Okay. Approve a motion to go back into executive session to discuss sale of property.
Householder.
Second. Watkins. Right, time.
He speaks so soft, I can't hear him.
I just have to talk to
Speaks like
Tracy.
we
She
share a
writes it
big
down.
stick. I know, that's right.
No further action will be taken. Fine. Next regular board meeting will be June 20th, 2016 at 7 p.m. here at the administration building. Thanks for watching. Oh, we got a vote.
Mr. Householder?
Yes.
Mr. McCullough?
Yes.
Mr. Rush?
Yes.
Mr. Watkins?
Yes.
Mr. Blue?
Yes.
All right.